let's talk about mats. So as you will know, you will have got a mat with your machine, and these are sticky mats. They have a sticky adhesive on them that hold the materials in place whilst we're cutting. So they do a really important job of keeping everything flat and ready to be cut by the blade. And now, depending on the machine that you've got, you will know that you had different mats in your box, or you might have had one mat, but they are different colours, and they're different colours to represent the different stickinesses of mat that's available. So if you've got a Maker or an Explorer, you've probably got a light grip mat. This is the blue mat. This one is for materials that don't need a lot of stick, so quite often thin materials, paper, some card, vellum, anything that's quite delicate and thin, you'd probably go for the light grip mat. When it's new and sticky, it's also absolutely fine for your vinyl and your iron-on. So that's your light grip. Then you've got your green mat, which is standard grip. This sometimes comes in the box with the Explore. It used to, I think it's now been replaced by the blue mat. You will see a lot of people on the internet use the green mat, and that's because the blue mat didn't used to exist, it was only green. So some of us have become quite attached to our green mat. Green, of course, is standard grip. So this is stickier than blue. It's great for iron-on, vinyl, cardstock, just a good all-round mat for everything. And of course it's going to last you longer than your blue mat because it's stickier to start off with. So that's your green mat. Then you've got purple, which is strong grip. So this is the stickiest of the mats. And this one is for any heavy materials, so anything thick. Your chipboards, all of your wood, they need to be on this mat so that they can be held in place. Also, if you're doing any engraving, that you've got, a thicker piece of maybe acrylic that you need to sit on the mat and stay stuck, you really need the strong grip mat to keep those things in place. So that's purple is strong grip. And then for the Maker, you've got the pink mat, which is the fabric mat. This mat has been specially designed with self-healing properties, so it's slightly different to these three mats. It's specially designed to work with the rotary blade on the Maker and material. So it's going to hold fabric beautifully. And when that rotary blade cuts through it, the self-healing properties of the mat means that the rotary blade isn't going to carve up your mat as much, which is really handy. So pink always for fabric, and it's great to have a separate mat for fabric anyway, because any fibres and things, they're all going to collect on this mat instead of spreading them across your other mats. Now I would highly recommend, if you cut lots of different types of material, that you have a couple of different mats set out for those different materials, so you can keep the mat specifically for, cardstock, or one specifically for felt, so that you're using the same mat for those materials. It will just last you longer. Also, I like to downgrade my mats. So for example, if I buy a strong grip mat, after a while it will lose its stick, and then I can downgrade it to become a green mat because it will have got that amount of stickiness. So I just move them along. Remember, you can wash your mats. I have a separate video on how to do that, and that will help bring back the stick. But remember, these are a consumable item, so after a while you can clean them and get a bit of stick back, but after a while they will eventually lose their stickiness and you will have to get some new mats. Also remember, quite often when something isn't cutting well, it's not actually the blade, it's because your mat isn't sticky. So if you're at the point where you need to tape down your materials because the mat isn't holding them in place, and you're getting, not great cuts, or things are seem to be lifting or kind of puckering as they're cut, that tends to be because your mat isn't sticky, so it's not holding that material down flat. So just bear that in mind in the future once you start cutting, that it might be because your mat isn't sticky anymore. So those are your 4 different mats that are available for your Explore and your Maker machine.